I've got the story Grandma's Purse by Vanessa Brantley-Newton, and I'm going to show you exactly what questions to ask your kids while you read this book together so that you are getting the most out of reading comprehension. The themes developed in this book are intergenerational connections, family heritage, memory, personal identity, shared joy, quality time, sentimental value, generational links, personal identity and self-expression, and growing up. All right, this story is all about a little girl going through her grandma's purse. First question, central idea. What does the main character want to do? She wants to go through her grandma's purse, but I guess the grandma is kind of the main character too, but she wants the connection, she wants the shared joy, and she wants the quality time. And this grandma and granddaughter have a tradition of like, the grandmother lets her granddaughter go through her purse. She's got all these personal items in her purse. But the point is connection, shared joy, quality time in this simple activity. I'm sure many little girls out there have spent time going through their grandma's purse and like know what their grandma used to carry around. Okay, next question, key details. What specific details tell us about Mimi's personal identity and the sentimental value these things have for the main character? Okay, so this is going to show generational connection because this little girl is kind of like fascinated with these like adult things that the grandma has. Specifically, she has a lipstick and like a compact, and she has perfume. So lipstick and perfume and like a compact are all things connected to personal identity and have sentimental value. Like people will probably remember the shade of lipstick that, like if your grandma wore lipstick or if your mom wore lipstick, you probably remember the shade of it. You might remember the smell of it. If your mother or grandmother wore like makeup in a compact, you probably remember the way it smelled. You probably remember the brand. You probably remember the clicking sound that it made when you opened and closed it. And of course, perfume, same thing. We remember the way people smelled through the perfumes that they wore. So generational connection, because this little girl is like, I don't know, 3, and she's playing with like her grandma's lipstick and her grandma's perfume, which are like things for adults, but the grandma is feeling a connection through those items because those items are connected to her grandmother's personal identity pretty deeply. Next question, another key detail question. What does Mimi say that gives us a clue about what gives her sentimental value? Mimi is the grandma, and the little girl is pulling things out of her purse, and she pulls out a coin purse that her husband got from Japan. This gives us the sense that her husband is probably gone, because she says that whenever I need a coin, I pull out my coin purse, and I always think of your grandpa when I pull out this coin purse. So this shows us that the grandma is carrying around things that give her sentimental value, right? The lipstick and the perfume probably don't give her sentimental value, but like this coin purse does give her sentimental value. So here we see like there's a lot of themes developing already here. Memory, she's carrying around something that reminds her of her husband. Personal identity, like I said, the perfume and the lipstick are probably personal identity things that, you know, like if you have an older woman in your family who uses those things, you probably remember the shade, you remember details about those things, and you connect them to that person. And of course, the shared joy and quality time. Again, literally all they're doing is just going through her purse. Next question, key details. What key details tell us about Mimi's personal expression and her identity? So the little girl pulls out a lot of things from her grandma's purse that are like her grandma's personal things. She pulls out an extra set of earrings because grandma always has extra earrings. She pulls out sunglasses because I think she says something cute about the sunglasses. And she pulls out a scarf, like if she needs to feel extra fancy, she'll wear a scarf. So all of these are like little personal items that grandma keeps in her purse. But again, these personal items are connected to our personal identity and therefore can have sentimental value because people just associate them with us. All right, next question. Integrate visual information. What role does the illustration play in describing the main character? Okay, there's the illustration. She's got on grandma's safety pins, her sunglasses, her makeup, her shawl. So this is showing the little girl's connection to her grandmother. She is literally dressed up as her grandmother. This is also showing us the intergenerational connection because like she's like 3, her grandmother is probably like in her 70s, in her 80s, and yet they are super connected, having this great, simple bonding time, linking their generations together, and kind of pretend growing up because the little girl is dressed as a grown-up when she puts on all of these things that her grandma is wearing. But the biggest thing here is probably the idea of shared joy and quality time. And they're doing a super simple activity. They're literally just going through her purse. But it describes the main character as like really connecting to her grandmother because she's literally dressed up as her grandma. All right, next question. Central idea. What has the reader learned over the course of the story? So, through the story, the reader has seen an example of intergenerational connection and family heritage and generational links because this little teeny tiny girl is going through her grandma's purse and they are just having the best time. The little girl is not only enjoying the bonding time, but she's also learning about her grandma, and she's like creating these memories that will have sentimental value for her. Like this little girl will probably remember her grandma's lipstick always, and her grandma's perfume always, and her shawl always. So she's creating these memories. And also, the reader can see how the personal things that we carry around become part of our personal identity and can become things that have a lot of sentimental value for the people who are around us. Again, like just like going back to like the lipstick, the perfume, the foundation, the shawl, the sunglasses, the extra earrings. These are all little details about the grandma that this little girl will probably remember for the rest of her life. So it is a really cute story about intergenerational connections and generational links through a very simple moment, a very simple activity, going through your grandmother's purse. And that is Grandma's Purse by Vanessa Brantley-Newton.